feel... Okay.
We got the shot.
Follow me, my friend, to glory at the end.
Hello, everybody. I'm Will.
And I'm Kristen.
And this is So I'm Watching Agatha All Along, Season 1, Episode 7.
Death's Hand in Mine.
What'd you think?
This is my favorite one so far.
I think this was the best one so far.
Yeah.
If you've been watching our coverage, the short version is kind of more of the same, but I did like this one better, and I did like this one the most. I've said it before, I feel like this might be a little bit of a short final 2 episodes that we do.
Sure.
I'm not sure.
I was gonna start with, I think that this episode and the previous episode are how we should have been doing all the episodes. We should have been looking back at and I get why it worked better for this episode specifically because of Lilia and her, like, timey-wimeyness, but I do feel like we should have been getting history of each of the witches as it was their turn to do a trial.
I think that's what I've been touching on when I have been saying this whole time. I think the show will watch differently a second time.
Sure.
I've said this before, I'm going to say it again. I am on this show's side. I want it to succeed. I do think that it is a good show. My enjoyment personally of it is medium.
Yeah.
And I think that is because of there's a slight dichotomy in it. And I think it's where I'm struggling is I don't know how to say what I want to say without sounding rude or dismissive.
Sure.
Because I don't mean these things as rude or dismissive. But I feel like what I desire from this type of story, I've aged out of what they're giving.
Sure.
This is a little bit too Disney Channel original movie for me.
Sure.
And that's where the frustration for me is coming from, is because occasionally, at least once an episode, we get a glimpse at an edgier show. Mm-hmm. And that's the show that I wish I was watching.
Agreed. Completely.
And so that is, in a nutshell, my opinions on this show. Yeah. If you love it, I love that. I think that that's great. I frankly kind of even still want more of it. Yeah. Like, it's given me enough, and again, the implications of it within the Marvel Universe is exciting enough that I really like conceptually what it's doing. The minute by minute enjoyment, me watching it, varies wildly.
Yes, I'll agree with that. I think this one was probably the most successful because it filled in so many gaps in Lilia's her like kookiness the whole season.
It's stuff that I figured. Like, it's exactly what I thought was happening.
Yeah, she's just displaced in time, basically.
And they did it well. Mm-hmm. But I guess this is what you were touching on, where you were like, you wish the whole thing had been this way. I wish we were getting this sort of narrative satisfaction slightly earlier than we were.
Because last week's episode that was focused on Teen, we went backwards too and found the, like, beginning of Billy, of him being Billy. And I really liked that. And this one, we went all the way back to when Lilia is a young girl, and then all throughout kind of everything. And having the trial be a tarot pull was really interesting. We also get the twist, I guess. I'm not, like, super shocked that Rio is death. It just feels right.
I'm slightly confounded by it.
Okay.
Because is this, and this is me doing too much, patented me doing too much, but it's like, is she death in the sense that she's on par with Ella? Or... That
I have no idea. They called her the original Green Witch, whatever that means.
And so there's part of me where it's like, I know that in the comic books, Thanos, his motivation wasn't balancing the universe. It was courting Madam Death. Mm. And so I'm like, is that who Rio's meant to be? Because I love that implication, but also the confines of this production
it's not.
Doesn't lend itself to that being...
Completely. And in addition, Thanos, my guy, she is a big old lesbian. It ain't gonna work.
But doesn't that make it worse?
No, it does.
I'm like... Oh, but you can't dangle something that I want in front of me
completely
and be like, no, but this is you getting it. Yeah. It's not gonna have ramifications,
right?
And the ramifications are what I'm interested in.
100%. I couldn't agree with you more. And the other thing too, specifically, is like to continue with what I'm saying is that, like, I think the trial that they had in like the beach house, we should have gotten some background on Jen. And then we should have gotten...
It bums me out that Jen is the character that I'm the least connected to.
Because we love Sashir so much.
But and she's, the sassiness is working.
Yeah.
And like the like chic Gwyneth Paltrow part is working, but I'm not, again, as a 40-year-old man, I'm not fully sold on the sisterhood.
And I think it would have been solved by doing that, because the other thing, even with Alice, whose death was very impactful and everything. And dramatic. I think the episode that we were in her trial really could have been interspersed with like actual flashbacks to the past, which instead it's a lot of telling, not showing. And so we've gotten a lot of like, well, your mother recorded the greatest, copy of The Witch's Road, and because she was trying to build a coven, like every time she, did a concert,
well,
and like again, that's great, but it's like we're only being told that.
And so we're only in the show's defense, there is a fair amount of showing, but there's something about it that's still not fully resonating with me. So the amount of times that I've watched it and been like, okay, that was interesting, and then I go and read the synopsis, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that's what I was meant to take from that.
Right. And so that's the thing where it's like, for me, I think I'm invested in Agatha because it's Kathryn Hahn and because we knew Agatha before. And I'm invested in Teen because I like Joe Locke, and I'm invested in the Maximoff boys. And so, and now I'm invested in Lilia, R.I.P. And so
we'll see them again.
It's like, what actually are we doing? I wouldn't count on it.
Yeah. I mean, I think we'll see them again in I Call Upon the Mother's Maiden Crones.
I think we'll hear their name.
And we'll see a woo or something.
In this show or in the future of the MCU?
I think in this show.
Okay.
No, we're not going to ever.
Okay, I was
we ain't never seen that. And that's part of what's bumming me out, is I can't get over that. And so, because honestly, the episodes, I liked episode 1, 2, 6, and 7.
Yeah.
And those were all very character-based episodes.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that the Witch's Road is such a plot device, is such a MacGuffin, that and the trials are so arbitrary, that's how they are coming off to me. That's the part of it that feels like busy work in a way that I wish, and again, I think they did a very good job of registering the stakes in this one. Again, you're right, I liked the tarot, and I liked the brief tarot 101 that was relatively accurate.
Yep.
I liked the swords. I did like the costumes. It drives me nuts that they all, considering that these are several 100-year-old witches, it bothers me how new they act all the time, and especially with each other. Like, and again with Jen, where Jen's like, Lilia, what are you doing? And I was like, clearly what she needs to be doing. How have you not seen this before?
No, for sure. For sure.
And that's the part that I think was working for the younger audience. And again, like I said, and if that's what this is, I love that for you guys. Mike Flanagan's gonna blow your tits clean off. When you graduate to episode 5.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
No, for sure. And so that's a really good point, because like, we have also, you want me to stop saying it, we have also talked about Patti LuPone.
I desperately need you to stop saying it. I thought she was good in this. She hit, okay.
That's what I was gonna say, is I feel like maybe she wasn't phoning it in, she was just saving it all for now.
She was managing expectations.
She was incredible in this episode. All the spinning out through time, because I think they even like reshot some of the like things from like the earlier episodes. And so that was all really good. And then I love the little girl that was playing young Lilia and that whole thing. And God, that grandma had like such a line where she was like, I feel like I'm losing myself. And she was like, then find your, and I was like, yeah, grandma. I was like, say it how it is.
And I really, it ironically or coincidentally, I guess, I've been falling into timey-wimey YouTube stuff, so I've actually been sort of studying the third and fourth dimension, again, via 12-minute YouTube clips. When I say studying, sometimes I'm like, but that this was sort of touching on that. And again, I really enjoyed that the notion in which we introduce death literally.
Mhm.
It ends on a poignant note,
Mhm.
because I can't even go as far as to say hopeful or optimistic, but just sort of, it's never really over, that kind of thing.
Well, that's another interesting thing too, from when it was like adult Lilia was sort of inhabiting the young Lilia and talking to her grandmother, and she was like, I couldn't save you. Like, I couldn't save the coven. You all died from, like, whatever. And she just was like, death comes for us all. It's the only certain thing. And that's just kind of like, giving Lilia the peace to, like, be able to, like, accept it with grace. That's the kind of, like, that's what I want to watch, you know? Like, that's the stuff I want to watch.
Also, the tower flipping was so good.
So cool.
So good.
Also, did she just straight up kill the Salem Seven? Because that would be incredible.
I wanted if that's the case,
Yeah.
Sure. I wanted a little bit more from them.
They all landed on those swords.
Well, they were a very cool visual.
Yeah.
And, you know, because I even made a joke when they were hiding from them. I was like, so you can just duck behind a sack of potatoes? And I was like, I mean, I guess it did work with the hobbits and the Nazgul. But I felt the Nazgul's presence a little bit stronger.
Sure. I started seeing this guy on TikTok who, like, does video game based things. And so he does this one that's like video game logic for some reason. And he's like, it's like he's an NPC and he's explaining to you, it's like your POV, and he's like, oh yeah, you've got to go and fight this beast or whatever. It's like really like an intense beast, crazy. And the guy's like, oh, it sounds like it's gonna be hard. And he goes, no, not really, just crouch and walk past him and you'll be and he goes, really? And he's
That's
like, yeah.
exactly what this is like.
So I'm fine with it. Like, it's whatever, but I take your point where I'm like, really, just like behind that bin and you're good to go. All right, fine, okay.
We're breezing right through this.
Yeah, we're good.
I did like their costume. I've enjoyed those gimmicks.
His Maleficent was
so good.
So good.
So
I love too how bitchy he was about it, where she was like, will you seem pleased? And he was like, if the cheekbones fit, bitch. Like,
she was the Wicked Witch of the West. Lilia was Glinda. And I thought that Jen was the Into the Woods witch, but I guess she was the evil queen, Snow White's evil queen.
Oh, that's worse.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
I prefer...
Because I literally was like, they did her so dirty. The rest of them look so amazing, and she's just like a hag over to I was like, that sucks. I did like when Lilia was like, what are you wearing? And she goes, I don't want to talk about it right now.
No, I mean, I like the Into the Woods witch better, and Disney did release this, but it released that, but I don't know. It's fine. I set myself up for failure. I played myself because I saw a still of this and it was Kathryn Hahn. But when I saw it for half a second, I assumed it was Rebecca Mader.
Oh my God, hilarious.
Wouldn't that have been
so funny?
And when it didn't happen, I was so sad. And that's not the show's fault.
Why would they ever? Like, there's no excuse.
Kristen Bauer and Rebecca Mader would have made this.
They could have done it. They could have done it.
Yeah, like I said, because we really got dinged with the previous episode. We got a lot of dislikes, and that was the one we liked.
I did.
It was the previous episode that we were hard on.
Yeah, I preferred last week's episode to like basically all of them except for the first two. And then I thought this one was even better.
Yeah, I'm just, like I said, I'm just being honest, and I get like what we're doing, and I get that people are usually watching these YouTube videos for hype reasons, and I want to provide that. But also, at the end of the day, I'm not gonna hype it if I don't feel hype, because then you can't ever trust my opinion. And again, like I don't have any ill will.
No.
I just am medium.
Yeah.
So we got 2 more episodes. Like I said, I thought we started good, and I thought that, you know,
so far
I think it's a mixed bag. Who knows? Yeah.
So far we're back on an up trajectory, in my opinion. So we'll see what the last 2 look like.
Have to offer.
Yeah.
So, all right. Bye.